are watching Modify TV.
3, 2, 1, go!
Friendly troops securing Delta 1. Delta 2 under attack by the enemy.
Does this answer review the question of the title?
Alright. So you're watching some Battlefield 2042 in ultra settings with DLSS set to performance. This is 100% 4K native, and honestly, it looks incredible. But I'm not here to show you some pretty gameplay. I've had the RTX 5080 in my rig for over a year now, and it's time to stop the hype. Coming from the 4070, the difference in clarity is night and day. The 4070 was a 1440p and 1080p king, but it'll be choked the second you try to push a real 4K workload. The 5080 was built for this. It's a 4K card, obviously through and through. But after 12 months, I've got some serious bones to pick up with NVIDIA and how will they handle this flagship tier. Now, people have been having a controversy about the bandwidth lie, and well, people call it the 5080 Ti. Let's address it in the room. The nickname. A lot of people, myself included, this card called the 5080 Ti or 4080 Ti. Why? Because on paper, it just feels like a refresh rather than generational leap. You understand me? All this money for maybe some more clock speeds and a little bit more bandwidth. But the biggest slap in my face is the VRAM. We are still sitting at 16GB, and that is the exact same capacity as the 4080 Super from years ago. In 2026, for a card that costs this much, that is truly borderline insulting. NVIDIA loves to talk about the massive bandwidth jump from GDDR7, but when you actually look at the bus width and the raw crunching power, it really just feels like they did put a fast engine in the same chassis. There's been a ton of controversy on the 5080's bandwidth. We're not marketing it as a revolutionary leap, but in real-world scenarios, it's not about giving us the headroom we actually need for the next 5 years of gaming. It looks like they have heavily purposely kneecapped it to make sure the 5090 looks like a god amongst men, right? They're really putting the 5090 on top of everything, right? But they're not balancing the stuff that's behind it, right? I mean, surely there's tiers, right? Yeah, there's tiers. There's flagship, mid-range, budget, and budget baller, you know? But the 5080 is just right under the 5090. I mean, surely NVIDIA would love to make the 5080 a best card for people who don't want to blow balls, right? No, that's not the case. NVIDIA actually screwed us all over. Anyways, that leads me to my biggest frustration, the 4090. Think about this. We are an entire generation ahead, and the 5080 still has less VRAM and lower raw rasterization power than the 4090, which is technically last gen now. However, the 4090 is an absolute king due to its normal nature of, well, non-DLSS factors, and well, the fact that it has 24 gigabytes of memory. For the first time where the 5080 class flagship can decisively beat the 90s class flagships across the board, I'm not happy with the fact that my new high-end GPU is technically inferior to the card from 2022 in terms of raw memory and core count. It makes the 5080 look like a stopgap card rather than a true evolution. I'm pretty sure that the 5080 has over 10.7 thousand CUDA cores, while the 4090 is reaching somewhere around 16,000. Now this is extraordinarily good for development, artificial intelligence, and other workloads. If you've been watching this footage for the past few minutes, you can really see why I kept it. For the visual first gamer, the person who wants to see every pebble in Battlefield 2042, or ray trace reflections in Cyberpunk, this card will deliver. But for my competitive guys, listen to me. If you're chasing that maximum frame rate to match a 360 or 540Hz monitor, you should be playing at 4K. At 1080p or 1440p, this card is in fact overkill. And you're better off with something that doesn't carry the 5080 tax. And going back to competitive, this card is an absolute beast, right? But every beast has their own limits. If you're really trying to save money, maybe look for a used 5070 or something else like that. Because the 12GB VRAM buffer will surely handle you for a bunch of years until games actually start to require more juice. But 12GB is in fact actually becoming inferior now. But if you don't play at 4K, this card is the absolute perfect need for you. Anywho, I've been looking at user reports, and honestly, my own testing confirmed that the third-party brands like ASUS and MSI are just overcharging for the name. You're paying an extra $300 for a cooler that doesn't change the fact you're VRAM limited. However, the cooling solutions they provide is extremely well, and I actually like them a lot. Me personally, I have the ASUS TUF-5080, and it's pretty good actually. So now, let's get real. So, is it worth the upgrade? If you're still in the 4070 or older, you just want to buy a 4K monitor, yes. You need this level of power just to get in the door. But if you're on a 4080 or 4090, stay very far away. This card is a side grade at best for you. Due to the nature of the 4080 and 4090, Nvidia's mindset was to make the most powerful card they could possibly do at that generation. But don't be fooled by the 5080. It's not actually what you think. Trust me. Now, Nvidia tried to sell us the future with DLSS 4 and GDDR7, but they forgot to give us this raw specs to back it up. I mean, obviously it's a great card, but it's a safe card. And for over $1,000, safe just doesn't cut it anymore. So, what are your opinions? Leave that in the comments.